Before we start today, I got to give a big shout out to Jake O'Connell, who's our newest VIP patron over on patreon.com. If you don't know what that is, that's a way for listeners to be able to support the show financially and help us keep the lights on, help us keep growing, and keep the show going. So if you're interested in that at all, check out patreon.com/bigtruth. There's 4 different levels of supporters. They each come with their own benefits and entitlements. So check it out, patreon.com/bigtruth. Now, if you need some motorcycle parts or some gear, or especially for your old like Japanese motorcycle, you really need to check out oldbikebarn.com. They been around for a long time. Bear is a fucking great dude. They have whatever you need for your old Japanese bike or your Harley chopper or bobber or stalker or cafe racer, whatever, man. They even got it broken up by those parts, and they got their own line of leather gear, all made in the USA, and their own line of knives and whatnot. So check them out, oldbikebarn.com, on Instagram at oldbikebarn. And if you happen to be in the unfortunate situation where you find yourself in a motorcycle accident, you need to check out lawtigers.com. They are a motorcycle accident law firm founded for riders by riders. Hope you never need to use that sponsor, but if you find yourself in that situation, then you need to check them out. Go to lawtigers.com, or if you're on Facebook, go to Law Tigers. Just type in a search, do Law Tigers plus your state. So if you live in Massachusetts, you type in Law Tigers Massachusetts, and the local regional office will get popped up, and then you can contact them directly. And it's hot, it's warm, nice warm, fucking beautiful Sunday here in Massachusetts. You can feel the warmth coming in. The humidity hasn't hit yet, but it's on the horizon. And when that does, you know what's going to happen, man. Those nether regions, you know what I mean? That grundle, that taint, that fucking hanging slab of meat between your fucking legs is going to turn into a swamp, a fucking infested swamp. So what you got to do is check out manscaped.com. They have a razor, which is called the Lawnmower 3.0. It's a specially crafted razor with these special ceramic blades that helps you comfortably shave those nether regions, deforest that area. You want to deforest that area. You don't want to deforest the Amazon, but that's that little fucking mini microcosm Amazon you got growing between your legs. Fucking clean that shit up. No one wants to deal with it. You don't want to deal with it. You're going to be all grumpy and pissed off. Legs going to be all chafed and fucking whatnot. Your fucking chick, your dude or whatever is going to be all pissed off at you because it's going to be all gross. So go to manscaped.com and get that razor. You can go to town down there, and you will not nick or scrape or cut or anything unless you go full fucking force, which, you should never do down there. And if you use the promo code BIGTRUTH at checkout, you get 20% off your order and free shipping. They got all kinds of other elixirs and fucking doodads and whatnot, all for your genital health. So you can check them out, manscaped.com. Use the promo code BIGTRUTH at checkout. You get 20% off your order and free shipping. Now, if you're in the market for some CBD, which is legal in every state, there's a lot of options out there, like especially the last year or two. There's fucking CBD companies all over the place. Go to your local bodega or a fucking convenience store, and there's probably 10 different things lined up, and it's hard to tell what's garbage and what's good. But I can tell you need to check out Cradle Lake Clear, because their shit is 100% legit. Whether you got anxiety or trouble sleeping or fucking inflammation issues from an injury, go to Cradle Lake Clear at cradlelakeclear.com and get their CBD oil. They have all different kinds of strengths and flavors and whatnot, all legit, all fucking made from the best stuff, no garbage, no mess, no fuss. Check them out, cradlelakeclear.com. And if you use the promo code BIGTRUTH at checkout there, you get a percentage off your order. I believe it's 20% off your order there as well. While we're talking about 20% off your order, you need to check out Omerta. Omertamia.com or Omertamia on Instagram, which is Omertamia, lifestyle and clothing company run by 2 of my good friends. and it's the most legit one on the market. I can tell you that with absolute fucking certainty. So check them out, omertamia.com. If you use the promo code Big Truth at checkout, you get 20% off your order there, right? So just throwing 20s around all over the fucking place. But yeah, but for real, like, you know, whether you need a scarf, you need hoodies, you need jackets, you need a fucking shirt, whatever, check out omertamia.com. Best designs going. And you know what I mean? Just totally legit shit. So I can't even say enough. Now, if you're into like weird and rad, fucking bizarre shit, like you like reading about or watching documentaries on serial killers, or you like stoner doom metal or fucking punk hardcore, you're very antisocial, you like collecting street weaponry, you're into the occult, some fucking weird shit, you know, you like psychedelia, fucking, or, you know, any weird, bizarre, you know, arcane shit, you need to check out my man Zach Doom's company called Heavy. And you can find them at Heavy Clothing on Instagram or heavy.bigcartel.com. They got, you know, whatever, you know, they got all kinds of rad designs, you know, apparel. They have some antisocial, nefarious wares that you can also pick up. But yeah, make sure you check out heavy.bigcartel.com or Heavy Clothing on Instagram. If you are into motorcycling and building bikes or riding bikes, anything, you got any interest at all in bikes, you need to check out chopcult.com. They're the biggest information clearinghouse and fucking message board out there for motorcycle riders and enthusiasts. They got a huge online message board that's broken up by topics, so it makes it easier to find, you know, more information about what you're interested in or talk shit with people about what you're interested in. They got a classified section where you can buy, sell, barter parts. They got an online kind of a area where you can go check out events page where you can check out motorcycle related events happening all across the country and all across the world. They email digest where they'll just send you stuff each week if you want. And everything is absolutely free. They don't charge nothing. They don't want your credit card to sign up, any of that stuff. So check them out, chopcult.com, and on all the social medias, simply at chopcult. pitchforkny.com. My man Warren and company, my brother's got a clothing company, but also a record label called Pitchfork. If you're into punk and hardcore and metal, you've seen these guys, or you've seen your favorite artist wearing their shit. So check them out, pitchforkny.com. 100% legit. And they got clothing. They also have a record label. They're doing a new New York hardcore compilation LP. I think pre-orders are up for that right now. So make sure you go check that out, pitchforkny.com. And on Instagram at pitchforkny. And if you're still listening to this and you want to support you know the what I do, you can check out chopperhead.com, our motorcycle shop. It's a full service brick and mortar motorcycle shop. We're not a little fucking company that rents a storage unit space and fucking sells other people's shit out of a storage unit. You know, where it's a fucking legit shop. So you can come in. Anything you need, whether you need an oil change or a full fucking motor rebuild or a full custom chopper built or anything in between, we do it here. And then we also have a showroom with a parts counter, so you can come in. You know, you want a helmet, you can come in and check shit out, try shit on. You don't have to roll the dice online and figure out what your size is. You can come here and actually try shit on. I carry Biltwell, I carry Simpson helmets, I carry Bell, you know what I mean? And we got our own line of apparel. If you're not local in New England and you can't get by here, you can always go to chopperhead.com. We pretty much set up with every parts company there is. So if you don't see it on our website, because we're more of a real shop than we are an online presence, you can always feel free to give us a call. Because if we don't have it on the web store, that doesn't mean we don't have it or can't get it or can't make it. So whatever you need, motorcycle related, hit us up, chopperhead.com. It's CHOPPAHEAD. If you are in New England, stop by. We're on 13 County Road, East Freetown, Massachusetts. We're open Monday to Saturday. And yeah, that's about it. For more information on the podcast, go check out bigtruthpodcast.com. Got every episode up there. And as always, please If you like this podcast, wherever you're listening to it, whether it's on Apple or Spotify or Android, YouTube, wherever you're listening to this, please hit like and subscribe, leave a review, whether you just leave stars or you leave a written review. That all helps us get kind of matriculated through the algorithm more, so we get more out there and exposed to more people that might not know it. So that really helps a lot. Again, all you listeners, from the bottom of my heart, infinite gratitude. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode right now.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Yes, once again, we got liftoff. I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of the Big Truth Podcast. And I'm stoked to have my man Wino here with me. He's on the road right now, traveling to Austin. But so if it gets a weird connection, that's all, and we'll get him right back on. But you might know Wino from some little bands named like Saint Vitus or The Obsessed or fucking Jesus Christ, dude, Spirit Caravan. There's a million of them. Fucking Hidden Hand. Fucking this guy's got a resume. You know what I mean? A rap sheet. Fucking pages and pages and pages long, man. So stoked to have you on today, man. Been looking forward to talking to you for a while. How's it going, dude?
It's so great, and I'm glad to talk to you. I really am.
Yeah, man. So you're on route right now on the highway systems of traveling through the country, and how's it looking out there, man? Like
it's looking like fucking America is fucking beautiful in every fucking way. The terrain changes and it's still fucking beautiful. So far, it's easy traveling. I haven't seen any weird shit. Well, you got there's 5G everywhere, and I think that's that's sizzles at an unreal rate. But I haven't seen too many chemtrails. A little bit yesterday, but not many pigs. I can't complain.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Where are you at now?
We are in North Carolina, and basically we drove from the Catskills up in New York to Maryland, where my kids are, and I also have a room there. That's where the band, The Obsessed, rehearses. And so we drove there, stayed the night, and then we drove all day yesterday, most into the night to middle of North Carolina. We stayed in North Carolina, and now we're headed to Atlanta to see my mother. And then after we see my mother for Atlanta, that's going to be today, actually. Tonight, we're headed to fucking Tejas, baby, and that is one of my all-time favorite places. Yeah. And it just so happens to be where my dream bike is now assembled.
Yeah. I saw Matt post a picture of that thing. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm so glad he's coming on now, because before we even talk about music, that's what I want to talk about. You're fucking illustrious panhead, dude. That fucking thing's beautiful, dude.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. I'd love to talk about it. Initially, I bought the bike in Maryland from my motorcycle guru at the time. This cat is a little bit older than me. He had a bunch of bikes. This is the first guy that has a VL. He's had an Indian girder. He's got an Indian girder on his knucklehead chopper. Badass. He's got the Kinkery seat with the stash, the gun, and the tools on the side. The Kinkery seat with the stash in it.
Yeah.
And this dude is kind of like my mentor. The only thing about him is that he likes those bikes where they don't sit level, man. Something about a chopper, man. I like my bike sitting level, even if it's got a long front end,
Yeah. So there's a lot of guys that like to put long front ends, but not rake them, so you're kind of sitting back a little bit. But you want to be. It's
an interesting look, It isn't. I know that's kind of traditional in a way, but if I'm going to do that, man, I'm going to go rake. Like the next bike I'm going to build, I think it's going to have a little bit of stretch.
Yeah.
It's going to have a little bit of stretch up, and it's going to have, proper rake to trail with that stretch.
Yeah.
Because I like that look of a little bit stretched up. I do.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I know you're talking about, I like to kind of sit level too. So if I have a long bike, I want the rake right, so that the rake and trail right, so that the bike is still sitting level. Or I just like a short bike, like a rigid with like a stock length Springer on it. I think is always like a good look to me.
Yeah. I had another rolling chassis that I actually bequeathed to my drummer It wasn't an entire motorcycle, but the engine and the transmission were of questionable origin.
Yeah.
So I sold that to you. Basically, it's pretty beautiful. It's 2-over. It's got a 2-over wide ride, and it's got the 1.5-inch eighths that are built into the riser.
Yep.
And I've agreed to my drummer, who's a short guy. He thought it was going to be out too much. He sat down and it fits it fucked perfectly. So, but yeah, my particular bike now, I've got a coffin tank, and I love that tank. Old school square coffin, but I know they don't hold much gas. You know what I mean? That's the only thing about a chopper usually is if you want to put a big tank on there, it looks like shit.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. But also, I mean, I'm a little bit behind you, but sometimes on a rigid chopper, it's all right. You don't want to have 100 gallons of gas on there. You need to get up and stretch and fucking walk around a little bit after riding the rigid for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it feels good to get up like 60 miles, 70 miles, get off that thing, stand up for a minute.
Yeah. The funny thing about that bike, because I got long hair, is I'll be riding to let's say Oak City Bike or whatever, Maryland, and I'll be getting past like I'm standing still by these books. And 6 feet Harley.
Yeah.
So I took this festival, everybody crowds at me. Oh my God, I used to have a bike just like this. Oh man, my hair used to be as long as yours. Blah blah blah. And then on the way out, screws broke down.
Yep.
That's me. You know what I mean? That's fucked up.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. I mean, it was really cool. Some years ago, Chopper Dave put a couple of pictures of St. Vitus, and then me and my bike, we kind of do that to take a picture of my bike when I just finished it for the first time in Maryland. That was really great to be in the back page of the Dice, man. That was like fucking. That was really
no, absolutely. Yeah. Dave's a good friend of mine, man, and he knows music. Like that's the best thing about our worlds right now is that like there's such like an overlap between like the punk and metal and hardcore scenes and motorcycles, like, because to me it's the next progression of that shit. Like it's all like loud, dangerous, fucking antisocial shit, so it was like a natural progression to be in the both for me, you know what I mean? And it seems like that way with a lot of dudes. Like when I first got into bikes, it was still like a lot of the old we call them graybeards. Now I'm becoming a graybeard slowly. You know what I mean?
I'm a fucking graybeard.
Yeah. But it was like the graybeards that were into bikes when I got into it. They were like still more like the Rolling Stones type dudes. You know what I mean? And like the old school guys. And now like a lot of the everyone I meet on a motorcycle, like everyone knows like St. Vitus or like even fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Like everyone like listens to like some kind of music. Some kind of like underground music. So
it's the universal language, man. It really
absolutely.
is.
Yeah, I mean that's the perfect way to say it right there. Universal language, absolutely.
I mean, luckily, I've been fortunate enough to be able to travel the world, and I've had very thank Vitus for that, the SS too. But Vitus was really the band that was my biggest band, the band that took me to most places, farthest. But I could be anywhere in the world, like anywhere. Fucking, you be walking out the street in fucking Paris. And I could be in like Bumfuck, Florida, and somebody usually says, "Hey man, fucking love your shit." I mean, that's my reward right there. That is my reward. I mean,
yeah,
it's never going to be sacks of gold on the table like Mom wants to see. It's going to be the fact that somebody calls me and says, "Hey man, you changed my life." That is really the reward. And I realized that a while back. I mean, of course, everybody needs money, blah blah blah, but I'm kind of weird that way. I'm kind of like, get it off me quick.
Yeah. But dude, like, just to kind of like, just to like play off of what you're saying, dude, it's funny that I'm talking to you because, like, I got into like the punk, like when I was a kid, I grew up on metal, like, because that's, when I was a kid, like Kiss and Black Sabbath, shit like that. And then when I got into middle school, I started finding like skateboarding and punk rock and hardcore shit. And like, in the mid 80s, it wasn't, it's not like there was no internet. So like, it was harder to find out about shit,
Yeah,
so my introduction to St. Vitus is when I was probably 13 or 14, like 85, 86. And I bought that record just because like I was just getting into shit, into punk. And don't take this the wrong way, but like, this is like me in 85, 86. I was so like into Black Flag and shit like that, but I didn't know too much about punk yet because it was hard to find out. I was a kid. I wasn't, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
You bought it because it was on SST, right?
Absolutely. I bought it because it was on SST, and I was like, wait, what the fuck is this? Sounds like Black Sabbath. I thought it was going to be like punk.
Right.
But I saved that record. It was the second record with it, get the picture with everyone like on the cover, and I still got it from like because I never got rid of it. You know what I mean? And it was just like, but that
was Hallow's Victim. That was Hallow's Victim. That's a weird record too.
So like that must have been crazy for you guys, man, because like rolling around like people might not have been as ready for that, back then. Like like.
Well, check it out. I joined the band. The first singer that now is the singer now again, but he was in the band at first. He did the Black record was the first record. He did Hallow's Victim, and he did the White Stallion EP. So he was the first singer, and then I replaced him right after those dudes had done those long Black Flag tours.
Yeah,
so all about it, man. As a matter of fact, the singer told me recently that because maybe he had well, actually, because of the original singer, it's why I ended up joining Vitus. Because he got oil spotted by accident in Roanoke, with Vitus was traveling with that band, The Brood. The Brood was, I think, Amy was the drummer for Suicidal, I think.
Okay.
Or No Mercy. One of my dear fans, the drummer, Amy, had another band called The Brood.
Yeah. One of those Venice area bands there, yeah.
Yeah, I think they were SST. However they were on, Vitus was on the bill, was on the tour. And so Vitus, they were headed towards Baltimore. That's my top of ground back then. Well, not Baltimore, but Maryland. And basically, in those days, of course, there's payphones. And the way Vitus traveled was like a 2 dudes driving low, or 2 dudes driving, shotgun. Then the gear was all the way from them back and had a little tiny loft built up to the top of your street. You couldn't even stand up or sit up. You just lay there like it was all top. So basically, David pulled in to make a phone call late at night. Scotty got out to take a piss. David didn't know he left. Got back in the fucking van and drove all the way to fucking Maryland from Roanoke, which, I got probably 3.5, 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So, they managed to triangulate Scotty after we got half by the fucking Virginia cops with this long, like, Goldilocks hair and all this shit, barefoot, nothing. He just got out of the van, and they probably got back together, but they missed that Baltimore show because of all that value, but they stayed in the front of pad. And this dude is the dude who turned them on to the Obsessed. Okay? Now, Scott Riegers already knew he was going to lead the band as singer, so when they came back through, they played DC. I went down there. There's like 5 people there. And we were like round fans. And then, they didn't have any money or nothing. I remember giving them money out of my pocket, so they could get to the next city. And that's when the singer asked me if I would replace him. And I said, well, I'd love to do it. But the leader of the band wasn't into it. Chandler said that I looked like a quote, bag, unquote, because at that time I had a pineapple haircut. I had a pineapple haircut. I told him, it's just a phase, brother. It's just a phase. And it was just a phase. I mean, we used to wear glam and go to fucking, pagan tent parties. But nobody gave us any shit, or else we just have to fight our way out or get beat down. I mean, we didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But, but it was a phase. It was just a phase, and fucking, eventually, I muscled my way in pretty much, because David was, like, not really that psyched about me getting the band, but everybody else was. And then one day I just said, I'm moving to California, so I'm joining that motherfucking band.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was just.
Yeah, no, that's crazy rundown, man. But yeah, and I kind of I miss the days when because in the late '80s, it always seemed like shows were a little more mixed. Like you might have a punk band, a hardcore band, a metal band, and that was cool because it always exposed because it just wasn't enough of us doing shit. So
but it wasn't very cool at the beginning, not at all. That's what I was getting to. I forgot my story, but yeah, it was really hot. They were really hostile. Like I missed that though.
Yeah,
and I joined the band like right after that. When Vitus with Scotty toured with Flag.
Yeah,
and Flag was at their peak, and like
sure
the crowd, it was literally divided, especially in places like San Francisco or in some of the Chicago, some of the bigger cities. It was literally like there was a heavy skinhead presence.
Oh yeah,
they didn't like anybody, but they especially didn't like us. But they really. I've got a bunch of stories I could tell you about those days when we were playing. Like we'd always get stuck since we were on ST. We'd always get the call. hey man, somebody drop off the bill. You play with Agnostic Front in San Francisco at bottom of the hill.
Yeah. I heard about like you guys playing with Agnostic Front. Like Roger and Vinny are brothers, like to me, like, you know, and I've heard about that before. It's fucking.
Well, here's the, you know, they didn't dig it, and, you know, they didn't like it, but they treated us fine. And I actually, Vinny Stigma showed up, and they were using rental gear. There's 250-watt heads there, really nice heads. And he like took me aside. He goes, "Hey man, how do you hook these two things together?" And I showed Stigma how to fucking link two heads together. And I was proud to do that, man. I was proud to fucking do that, man.
Oh fuck yeah! But you know what I feel like though, like, you know, like Vitus, like, you know, I think you guys did. I don't know. I felt like it had to be this way because like Black Flag was so punk. Then, you know, they put, you know, Vitus is on SST. They tour together. Then all of a sudden Black Flag started turning fucking. You know, they put out Process of Weeding Out and shit like that. Like you guys probably influenced Black Flag and fucking changed them.
yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, Dukowski and Ian are the ones who like scouted Vitus. They thought that it would be cool, and I think it's pretty forward thinking on their part.
Yeah.
They thought it would be cool to get a band like Vitus on the label to kind of start to make it diversify it, you know?
Sure, absolutely.
I think that was pretty good. But I'll tell you something right now. In Vitus, all the way up to the last day I was in the band, we always considered ourselves a fucking punk band.
Yeah.
In attitude.
Sure. Yeah.
Always.
No,
you know, when you go small places, the crowd's rushing, you got to fucking the singer, you got to throw a few elbows. That's my fucking thing, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, and David gets out the crowd, you know, get out the crowd like every night. Every night out the crowd was, you know, doing the Fortune Late thing and getting all pervy with the kids, you know, all that kind of shit with guitar. So, I mean, we always did a punk band, and there's been a couple times when we just had to pull rank. Like, and we played Norway. The last time I played Norway, well, yes, I didn't make the last time, but we played Norway at the Festival Inferno, and for some reason, like, the promoter just decided to, like, cut us. It was like, it was the last night of the whole festival. It's all punk. I thought we were going to be, like, shunned, really. Dude, when it came time to play, I walked in the room, there was like a fucking 1,000 people packed in there waiting to see Vitus. And the dude had told us we were going to wait for half an hour. We were, like, freaked out. He was, like, one of the buzzing, and, you know, the language barrier was huge. We had to have time for that. So I was at a set list that we were going to do, and I walked out of the crowd, and I said, "This is what we're going to play tonight." And everybody's like, "Oh." I was like, "This is what we're going to play now." And I tore the other half off. And dude, the motor came down, and he's like, "You got to play as long as you want." And, yeah, we had to, sometimes you got to play hardball, these motherfuckers, man.
Fuck yeah. So, you know, what's going on? Like, what do you got going on? I know it's tough right now, and it sounds like, you know, being in a quote unquote pandemic hasn't stopped you from traveling around, even though you might not be able to tour bands. What's going on musically? Are you doing anything more like, what's going on with like Obsessed and stuff like?
Weirdly enough, man, it's really enough. You're going to be the first person to hear it besides the band, because I just worked something out last night. Basically, the Obsessed is going to do 2 new records for Ripple. We got a 2-record deal, and it's a fucking stunning, beautiful thing. And Todd Ripple has turned out to be one of my personal heroes. I mean, I did the acoustic record Forever Gone. You know, that's right when the pandemic hit, and it's right when that record plant burned up too. The mastering place burned up. So everything's in the panic, and Todd tells me, he says, "Dude, we're going through with the record. We're going through with the same release date. I don't give a fuck." And you know what, man? That's why I got loyalty to that motherfucker, because that was really righteous. So, yeah, 2 records with Ripple, and you can announce that the first record's going to be called "Designed to Divide."
Nice. I can see where that's going. I can see where that's going.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be, there's a couple of real heavy songs on there. It's probably going to be some of the heavy stuff I've ever written. A song called Plague Spring. There's also going to be, you know, some normal, you know, hope rock in there too for the Obsessed. I mean, I never considered the Obsessed really a doom band all the way. You know, it's like Bodies is a doom band. You know, there's some hope in there, I think, with the Obsessed, and that's good, man. Because, you know, I was born in 1960, so it's like, you know, Johnny Winter, Frank Marino, Zappa. You know.
Yeah.
How old are you anyway?
Me, I'm 49. I'm 49.
Right. You've seen it, man. You've seen it.
Yeah. I caught the tail end of some stuff. I didn't see like the first wave of some stuff that I wish I did, but you know, I caught the tail end of the first wave of shit and fucking been because I got into shit as a kid. I was lucky enough to just, I don't know, I found it and it resonated with me early on, and I just never left it. You know what I mean? And it built a life around this shit. You know,
that's cool. Wait, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, not in the same way, like not as a touring band, but as like a bike guy and you know, shit like that. You know.
Yeah. But, I had that motorcycle Jones on me before I was playing in a professional band. It's like, it's really crazy, but I think something about it. I think when I was really little, my grandfather was alive, and he had this little VW convertible, and he would take me to Castle, White Castle.
Yeah.
White Castle, we get those burgers, you know. So one of those days we did that, and all of a sudden we're sitting at a red light off this whole fucking motorcycle club. This is Columbus, Ohio. So they were down at doing shopping, man. They all pulled all around us, and I said, "Boy, Grandpa, look at the choppers." And he's looking up, you know, like looking for a helicopter, you know. but that was my fucking, when that happened, I think it was a turning point. Ever since then, I love choppers. You know? And so one day I was driving down the street when I was a little bit older, I guess I was 17, and I saw this stock VSA Lightning sitting out in the rain. It was for sale. The dude says, "Yeah, it's seized," you know, and he only wanted $400 for it. And my buddy, who's like pretty much the best, you know, the best mechanic I know, one of my oldest friends, he says, Get it. I know what's wrong with it." So I paid, actually it was $250. I paid $250 for the stock VSA. You know, it had the cookery tub, had the oil and frame.
Yep.
You know, and it wasn't really my style. And he said, "I know." He took it out of his pad. We unbolted the bench. He put the engine on the bench. He took the head off, talked about the cover off, and he said, "Just what I thought. The condensation from fitting had formed a little bit of rust along the tops of the rings. He poured some gasoline in there. Said, let's leave it overnight." Went back the next day, fucking kicked him right through. He said, "You're going to need rings, and you're going to have the Herndon pistons." And then he goes, "You better be careful. This thing's got a radical cam in it." And so basically, I trimmed the oil and frame for a rigid frame with a bolt-on hardtail.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to find a front end for that frame. The frame had like a 60 nip, but I finally found a fucking tube, PSA tube that would work with that in the neck, because I think they were still ball bearings then. And so got that together, took all the paint down, painted it myself, octagonal oil tank and whatnot. And, you know, I wasn't the best and the most knowledgeable at the time, but I'll tell you, my first ride, okay?
Fuck yeah.
It had a hand gun. My first ride was at the top of the hill. His house had this one hill that went down, and then there was another hill, so you couldn't see who was at the bottom of the road. Man, and I jumped that fucking hill for the very first time, no one around but me, and I was hauled like a bat out of hell going out the driveway, and all of a sudden, I was face to face with the Pepco guys on the top, working on the gas or something. And dude, I saw that dude saw me coming over that hill. His eyes got like a stick saucers, and so did mine. And I didn't know you had to lean or nothing. I just leaned out of it, missed him, and I was off down the road. Dude. I was as far as I was almost hitting mailbox to finally realize, whoa, I got to lean like a motherfucker this long for me. You know? But it was only 6 over 2s, you know, and I've never ridden another bike since except some kind of chopper.
Yeah. Well, fuck yeah, man. And it's like, would you say that was a 71 Lightning?
72.
72, yeah. I mean, those oil and frame British bikes, fucking, they handle beautifully stock, but I've never been a fan of just the way those frames look. You know what I mean? And
I know. BSA, yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, a BSA though top, I think looks cooler than a Triumph because it's taking the smooth rock spots. You know.
Yeah, we used to call those motors the power eggs because they were like so rounded. The motors, like, you know what I mean? They call them the power eggs, like. But yeah, man, we used to do here. We used to do a ton of Triumph and a couple of BSAs, but mostly Triumph stuff, man. If next, you know, when you're out on the road again and you're coming through Massachusetts, I have you come by. I got some historical, like old vintage British choppers here and stuff, and
cool,
and a bunch
dude.
of shit.
I looked at your stuff, man. I looked at the bikes, you know, they're on your splash page. Yeah, you're really doing some nice shit. I mean, I did 3-minute Triumphs, and especially the ones that, like, if I'm not mistaken, I know the Honda, the really old Hondas went down to like what looks kind of like an AM Savior frame, but almost as rigid. They got a little shock. Didn't the early Triumph units see that too? They weren't quite rigid. They had a little shock there, didn't they? Like a fucking AM Savior frame, kind of sort of.
What? Oh, like what? Like the rear shocks there, like the Eamon Savior style?
like the real old like Triumphia, didn't they have like a tiny little shot there where it has like the lines of the hardtail, but there's actually like a little shot, like sort of like an old Honda or like the AM. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Amen Savior frames, like you see in the old Easy Riders, which is like, it basically was a big frame, but it had a small little shot back there. So you got the line. So I guess they worked pretty good. I talked to somebody who had one for a trial recently. He's trying to sell it. I don't know. I still might try to wrangle that bike.
Yeah, you know what? Like, it's weird. Like with those Amen Savior frames, like I know they made a lot of dudes with Hondas, like in Triumphs and stuff used to run those. But all of them I ever saw, like they ended up getting slugged. I guess those springs might have worn out quick or something. I've ridden them, like, but I've never owned one, so I've only taken them for quick rides and stuff, like customer bikes and whatnot. But I've heard from people that have had them that they end up like slugging them, so they get a little more rigid because like I guess it can be a little squirrely on turns. But I don't know. I don't know.
You told me that.
Yeah, I don't know from personal experience, but just from secondhand accounts, But like, I didn't have any for any significant time. I've just kind of rode them up and down the street.
Tell you what, that's what I need to hear because that's the same thing when everybody was really psyched up on chrome molly. Like everybody was doing these chrome molly front ends, and it turns out that chrome molly, once welded, got extremely weak, and it would crack like right near the weld. So chrome molly, like if you look like I don't know, it's like I have like late 60s and early 70s like street copper hot bikes from way back in the day, and you see the ads in there for like the old companies like Cheetah making the crazy feet and shit like those triangular headlights and all that.
Yeah,
shit.
Aris and AEE choppers and shit like that.
Yeah, that's right. AE, that's right. And you'll see the chrome molly. Everybody was like trying to sell that as like the best front end material. Well, it turned out to be the worst. And also there's adjustable rakes. Yeah, there's adjustable rake front ends that are death traps. So I guess people learn, people learn. Like
people used to slug front ends to extend them, and you know what I mean. People did all kinds of wacky shit. That's why, like, we ever get old bikes and like, we make sure we go through them, and if I buy an old frame, I definitely chip that Bondo off to look at what's going on under there because people did some fucking sketchy shit back in the 70s, man. Fucking sketchy shit. But hey, you know what? That's people were building. It wasn't like today where there was so
brand
much.
New, it's brand new. They're like trendsetters, or cutting edge. But I guess you learn about
Yeah, and they were working with what they had, like people were welding shit with like fucking coat hangers and fucking whatnot, using that as fucking filler rod and shit. Like, people did wacky shit, there's all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah. But like I remember hearing people like talk about making their ape hangers out of like fucking shopping carts and stuff, like cutting the bends off of shopping carts.
Old chair legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have that book. Do you have seen that book? I think it was Danny Lyon.
Oh, the bike riders. Yeah, I got that book.
Right. And they're talking about that. You can see some of those early fucking ape hangers. They were literally like, bar stools turned upside down. What? Pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Like of course, that one picture is just that one picture says so much. I've been over that bridge so many times between, Kentucky and Ohio.
And, the guy crossing the bridge
with his helmet on the handlebars, looking behind him, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the picture, man. He's running for us all. That's what Lyon said. And that's intense, man. That's a good one.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. I love like a lot of people like really like a lot of the 70s shit. Like my shit is like 66 to 69 when bikes were still wacky, but they weren't like super stretched yet. Like they were just like tall and wacky and shit. Like, like
getting bob, starting to get the bob trip.
Yeah. And chops, but like maybe not like super long chops, but like, they might have the stock springers, but like super tall bars and like big goofy sissy bars and shit like that. Like I love that shit, man. Like the shit you'd see in like any of the old like any of the old fucking Roger Corman fucking biker movies from like 66, 67.
Oh yeah. I've been like, man, I'm pretty knowledgeable on that shit. I love them all. I was getting ready to send you a picture of my bike right before we started the interview, but I think you'll probably dig it. I don't know if you've seen any pictures that Matt posted, but
I saw the one Matt posted. I was digging the pipes. I was like, yeah, this dude's on some fucking radical shit right now, dude.
and he handed me that 60 bar. He goes, yeah, it's going to be tall. But I didn't know it was going to be that
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it was just because I know we were talking before, but like just shout out to Matt Jackson over at Jackson's Choppers, man. He's doing you proper. He's doing you proper, and he's a good dude, man. Really solid dude. I like that dude a lot, man.
He's a solid person, and he's a music fan. That's how we met. And then we started talking about the bike. Once I went to his first shot, after that, then I wanted him to be the dude to hold my hand once I built that bike. You know what I mean? And yeah. He did a lot of fab shit for me. It's really cool. He fabbed the push bar. He fabbed the foot clutch and the brake pedal. He made a match. He fabbed the jockey shift. So this is actually going to be my very first bike with a foot clutch. It's not truly a suicide because I still got a front brake. So I might hang on to that for a minute.
Yeah. It's all right to stop, man. It's not bad to stop sometimes.
And I feel like for me, I feel like a foot clutch bike is a rite of passage. I've never ridden one. So
and dude,
when I get that bike,
and fuck yeah, man, because like, and that's like, because I don't want to say this in a way that's gonna upset people, but there's like younger dudes now that are too fucking lame to do that. Like, you know what I mean? And your first one, you're never too old. That's all I want to say is like, you're never too old to get on some rad shit, man.
This is what Matt said. When I told Matt that I was determined to have a foot clutch, just half my mouth strap, and he said, you live this long. Because I'm 60. I'll be 61. I'll be 61 in September. So
yeah, well, fuck
but
yeah,
I feel like I'm 35, dude. I really do.
Absolutely, it's a number, man. It's all about your mindset. Like you're
It's about the mind. You're right, dude. You're so fucking right. I wish that I would have known about you, some months ago, because I was plowing around New Hampshire, Massachusetts a little bit, but I'll get up that way again.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely, man, absolutely, I'm upstate a lot too, so I definitely, we'll be in contact on that stuff. But
you're welcome to stay at our pad. We got a big, beautiful old pad. We got the extra guest room. It's right on the stream, up in the Catskills. I mean, I can open up my back window, or what I call my office, and just shoot my foot gun right at the window. Do it all the time.
That's fucking rad. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. Like I've always for most of my life until like basically 3-4 years ago, I always lived in the city, I lived in Boston, I lived in Providence, I lived always lived in cities and Tucson, wherever. And then, now I live in the woods.
Tucson? You live in Tucson?
Oh, I lived in Tucson in the 90s. Yeah. And for
killer, dude. I love that town.
I wish I bought property then, man, when you couldn't give it away back then, you know what I mean? And now now it's fucking crazy, But I fucking now I'm still in Massachusetts, but I'm like a little bit out of the city in a town called Freetown, and it's like an old swamp Yankee town, but I'm in the woods and I fucking love it, dude. The same type of thing. I don't know what it is. The older I get, it's just the antisocialness creeping in where I just want to see the woods. I don't want to see people anymore, and just
because people suck, man. It's like we like animals more than me and my girl. We like animals more than we like people. Really, I mean, Every now and then you meet really cool people. Like-minded people that like, for example, I mean, this must have been destiny because, like, we're on the same page about pretty much everything, I can tell. And, and that is really special, too. Like, I saw him right before he got the book, and it was interesting because I called him and I said, hey, can you come down? You bring me something, whatever. He came down and he looked really kind of a little bit different, and he said, I just passed out. And I was like, wow, he looked a little troubled, and immediately after that, I heard that he got Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
that was really.
Yeah, and shout out to Zach from Heavy, dude. That dude's a survivor, man. He went through all that encephalitis shit. Like that was no joke, dude.
The mosquito, right? Yeah, encephalitis.
Yeah,
and that happened right after he passed out. I know he passed out. He seemed a little different. Like he seemed troubled a little bit. Well, I guess he would be. That was, within the space of a few years, he made some pretty heavy moves.
Oh, absolutely,
but
absolutely.
I want to shout out to him. He's the one that got us together, and he's also one of the coolest motherfuckers I know. Oh, no, absolutely, man. That dude, that's the thing about this stuff, like in music and motorcycles especially, like you still meet real motherfuckers, and when you do, you're stoked because instantly, like
like you just said, you're on the same page about a lot of shit right off the rip. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's refreshing, man, because you know, I think we're becoming more and more dinosaurs by the day. You know what I mean? And there's less and less. You know, it seems, and you know, so but it's still like the same shit, man. It's rad, man. Like, and that's why I do this podcast, man. Like, a lot of it's like friends of mine, and then, you know, and then I meet rad people, like, you know, and have an excuse to talk to them about shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's getting the word out, because the word is really truly passion, and the word is love and loyalty and friendship. You know what I mean? Those are qualities that fucking some people these days just don't seem to understand. And, you know,
Exactly.
I will tell you a funny story about back though. Back in the MySpace days, you know.
Yep.
Robert, you know, now that most one days, I'm looking for an original, you know, new stock original drag specialties coffin tail light. And I got this email from this chick, and she's like, "I got one. I'll bring that next show." And all of a sudden comes chiming in, "Wait a minute, that's mine." And it was Zach, because like that was his ex. And he's like, "I just
she was selling his shit, yeah.
Yeah, dude. So of course when we met, we were instant friends. You know what I mean? And I really dig his style of bikes too. I really dig his style of bikes, and
yeah,
so he's been a good ally ever since.
Yeah, they do, like out there, they do that cool, like, I don't know what the name is, like sometimes people call it like St. Louis style, but it's not, it's just whatever, like those real tall boy bikes. I love those things.
Meaning tall boy, meaning what? 50 bar tall?
Oh, no, like a lot of the guys he rides around with, like they do those tall bikes where it's like a lot of stretch on the tube, like on the down tube, like so the tank looks like it's in front of your face a lot of times, you know what I mean? Yeah. I fucking love that, you know.
I love that too, but as long as the bike sits level. But to do that with stretch like that, I mean, I know there's some assets that fit there. My panhead trail is really, really good the way it is. I think I'm not sure it's 8 or 10. I think it's 10 over. Springer, I know it's a Paco. I'm pretty sure it's a Paco. Let's put it that way. I'm pretty sure the frame and the Springer are a Paco. But it trails right. I know it trails right, but there's one little a newer kind of exit ramp near one of my buddy's houses. It's kind of brand new. And they lay next to that rock. So it's the only place where I will start the basketball on that motorcycle. And I know that they poured it wrong, you know? It's weird. It's really strange when that happens, because you're like, what the fuck is going on, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing, man. These are old machines, and fucking that's the beauty of them. There's always, you know, it's like, you know,
they're easier to work on, though. I swear to God, they are. Even though if you break down, you might not be able to find. Even a Harley dealership won't work on.
No. They won't. There's some dealers that won't even work on anything that's over 10 years old. So they're not even working on the early twin cams anymore. Some dealerships, not all. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But yeah. I mean, if you're broken down on the side of the road, you'd rather be on a panhead with like a fucking carburetor than you would on a brand new fucking Street Glide or something where it's all computers.
Oh my
and shit
God!
Like
that. It's gonna be a sensor. You buy a brand new bike, be down in the middle of nowhere. Won't start one day because you burn out a sensor. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've had little problems at night with my bike that have been very simple, but that have completely caused me to call sensor. You know, and all it was the condenser, the little nut that holds condenser on tight. It had backed off, and then its vibration would spin it back so it would connect again. So I'd be riding around, and all of a sudden I would leave power on ride. I don't get power again. It was the weirdest fucking thing. But you know what? My buddy was pretty knowledgeable. So he's the same dude who told me, you know, after I fucking ran my bike into the fucking side of my shed, I said, something going on with my clutch. He's like, your clutch nut has come loose.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And my other buddy's like, he was full of shit, but that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, those little things should only be learned by trial and error, you know?
And you know, a lot of that shit, especially when you're on a rigid chopper, it's particular to that bike. Like you could have two rigid panheads on one of them, you know, that condenser bolt's going to shake loose and the other it's not, and something else is going to shake loose. You know your bike after when you put miles on it, and you know what you got to pay attention to and what you got to go through and tighten up after every long ride or every couple weeks or whatever. And that's just part of the game with the old shit. You know, it's just
it is. Man, I custom made a tool. Where I bent a fucking wrench and a box end and fucking with some heat and a nice strong vise, because I would have problems with my head bolts coming loose. And one time I had one missing. I was wondering why the motherfucker went idle, you know. And you know, it's embarrassing when your bike went idle. You come up to the ticket stand, we're going to the swap meet, you know, this dies. I got to get off. I got to kick it.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of bullshit.
Yep.
You know, I lost the fucking hip hole. It was just riding around with fucking one hip hole, completely out.
Ugh.
So it only took me an hour ride before I tightened it. So it's like, you know what I mean? You got to it's your bike. It is your bike. My bike don't like hot weather. I know that. You know?
Yeah. But that's the beauty, you know, to me, that's part of the fun of the old shit. Like, it's like that bike becomes yours because you know it. You guys are connected. You know what I mean? Like, if you sold that bike to someone else, it wouldn't be their bike for like months and months until they put the time in on it and learned it. You know, and they all get their own little starting ritual. You know, there's the same kind of basic one you start with, but they all like to be tweaked a little bit different to fire them up, you know, and that's going to be the difference between, you know, you sitting there and doing 10 kicks or 2 kicks, you know what I mean? It just
looking around for wire in the bushes and shit, like you know. But listen, you know, I just thought of something. This particular rolling chassis that I was telling you about, the 2-over wide glide, it's rigid. It's sort of really nice, man. It's all Allen nut. It's got, you know, drilled running boards, drilled discs, all that shit. That needs an engine and transmission, and you are a lot closer to Texas. So I might want to talk to you about maybe some ideas for my boy, because I'd be clean to my drummer.
Yeah.
In the effect. And you know, this is like really special, man. It's a really nice paint job and all this and that, but it is just a rolling chassis at this point. Yeah.
You know, think about what you want to put in there for a motor, and we can set you up. You know, that's not a problem.
I mean, I love SNS motors. I think they're bulletproof. I don't know what you think, but
absolutely. You know, for sure. Especially, you know, if you just want to fucking ride hard and not have to worry about some of the other shit you have to on a 60-year-old engine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know that new blockheads are pretty cheap, though. I've been told. If you buy a new Harley engine.
Yep. It just depends. You know, like the thing is like, you know, you could put like an SNS Evo in there and it'll be pretty bulletproof and it'll be nice and fast. It just depends too. Like, you know, you can find a nice SNS panhead. You know what I mean? Like, and those things are fucking cool. You know,
that's the beauty of the SNS. Really, yeah. I know the whole thing with the flathead power and all that. I think it's really great. It's set up. The bolt pattern is set up for. It was a shovel head with a early shovel bottom. But what do you got laying around?
I mean, I'm sitting in my shop now, and I'm looking on my bench, and I got a OG 55 panhead motor sitting there. I got a couple of Evos sitting there. Out in the front, I got another Evo. I got a shovel engine. You know, we got stuff hanging around. You got a shovel? Yeah, I got a shovel hanging around.
Is it for sale or is it just?
Oh yeah. I mean, everything's for sale, bro. No, not everything. Not everything, but yeah. Yeah, man. We got stuff. We'll talk offline and talk more about the bike project, and then no one wants to hear us talking about it. They want to see it later. Then we'll talk about it when it's all said and done.
That's right. And you know, so I did want to ask you a question though. So what got you listening to Vitus? I mean, what turned your opinion on Vitus?
Well, you know what it was is like, so when I said that, when I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? It just sounds like Sabbath. You know, I was a kid, like literally a kid.
I get it, dude. I totally understand.
And I was like just all punk and aggro and like skater, like punk rock kid. You know, I was like, fuck it, it's not fast. I want fast. And then, you know, just through time, you know, like I you know, started getting back into like just some metal shit too. Like, you know, like, you know, like you can't just listen to one kind of music, you know, like I grew up on metal and then came back to it, you know, like I always liked it, but it was just like when I first got into punk, I was so enamored with it. Like, I didn't want anything that wasn't fast or hard and heavy.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want anyone with a sing-song voice. I just wanted fucking gnarly screams and smash. I just wanted to smash it.
Sing-song voice. Are you referring to the DC band?
Yeah. And then later, you know, I just started getting back into shit. And then, like, I started getting back into, like, you know, and I had friends that were, like, listening to, like Rob is an old friend of mine. He's an old hardcore kid. And then he was playing in Solace.
Yeah.
And we had Solace play some of our parties here, and you know, cool. And then he's in trouble and stuff, but you know, and he just started listening. I just started listening to shit again, and I dig shit like Church of Misery. Like I like all kinds of shit, you know what I mean? And you know, I started listening to Vitus.
It's really that passion, you know. It's really that passion, you know. The visceral stuff, the slow, like the sadder stuff, like melancholy stuff.
Yeah.
The sadder chord progressions, that kind of stuff. That's always been in me. I don't know what it was, but that's always kind of been my favorite stuff. But man, when punk rock first hit, man, I was insane. It's like, I had the Pistols records, I had all the damn singles, fucking I loved. But what really got me in was the stuff that had a little bit more low end. Like I really liked SSD Control.
Yeah.
I really liked, of course, the Bad Brains, original Bad Brains.
Sure.
I saw them. We played with them in the Roar days. Fucking,
that's awesome.
That's another story. But anything that had a little bit more low end, like SSD or Discharge.
Yeah,
So and when I first joined Vitus, we missed the hardcore getting trashed by the punks thing that was there, but we did do a couple shows in Vancouver, Canada. We played 2 shows at TBH.
Okay.
And the Cro-Mags were supposed to warm up too, or actually we were supposed to play first, and they were supposed to play, and then Cro-Mags and then TBH. But the Cro-Mags couldn't get in because they were Canadian border was fucking with them because of their gear and all that type of shit,
Canadian border fucks with a lot of people, it seems like. I got a lot of friends that can't go to Canada.
Yeah. God, I'm not supposed to be able to go to, but I didn't last year because when you pull up at the border, earphones out, phones off, you got to look right at the dude. When he's asking somebody a question to your driver, he's asking everybody the question. Everybody's got to make eye contact and give him a little respect.
Yeah.
Man, I swear that's what it is. I really think that's what it is, man.
Probably. That authoritative figure wants a little, whatever little respect they can get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and hopefully their computer is down.
Yeah. But dude,
I'm persona non grata in Canada, only because of one joint of marijuana in 1984 that I paid to have expunged in the U.S.
Yeah, and it didn't get. They
got everything you've ever done in Canada, everything you've ever done. Dude.
It's fucking crazy, man.
It's crazy.
but fucking but and also to answer your question too, like when going back to it, like when I like my boy put me on a Hidden Hand, because he's like, dude, you should listen to this. He goes, this dude from St. Vitus, but like all the shit you talk, your political shit, he goes, it's all on this record too. Like, you know what I mean? And then like when I listened to it, I was like, oh shit. And and I was like, fuck yeah, man. Like, and as I was saying, like the Hidden Hand shit hit hard with me because it resonated like with what it was about. You know what I mean? And like you said, like you always felt like you were punk rock and even, like in attitude. And like, to me, that was punk rock. Cause the saddest thing to me today is, you got all these punk rock motherfuckers that are just going along with the mainstream fucking narrative and just regurgitating it and getting mad if you're doing punk rock shit. I was like, hey, wasn't the first lesson like fucking question authority? You know what I mean? And whatever happened to that, man? Right. You need to have a healthy healthy questioning of authority. It's just common sense. Like, and you got these people now like fucking, like
everybody's like that now, though. Everybody's blind.
It's crazy. They got them. They got it.
We're freaking out. Yeah. I'm freaking out. Everybody I know, like you and me, that we can talk like this. Everybody's freaking out because we've never seen anything like this. I mean, this is the kind of shit that we've been researching for all the years. All the stuff that I can call my research, which is like reading about all the nasty shit that the governments do or the people in power do. It's like all the stuff. Bullshit. And I really was kind of hoping we would never see it in our lifetimes. I was really hoping that my children would never see it in their lifetime.
Yeah.
But here it is. And it's my thoughts on it are like, as you go through life, we dig our bikes, we dig our music, all that, but sometimes I get to see, I'm like, what am I here for? Why am I here? Because it sometimes seems like there is a really deeper place, and I just realized the other day, I said, man, probably because I got to fight.
Yeah. You got to be a voice that like a voice of opposition. You got to be the voice.
That's right.
And and it's like weird now because like when we were young, music was like in your face and people were in your face, and the world's not like that anymore. You almost have to like coddle people along now and like be more subtle about shit and then like win them over subtly. You know what I mean? Because like if you get too in people's faces anymore, they're like, oh man, like everyone's so weird and like I don't know how to explain it now. It's like The world,
dude, it is so weird.
I don't want to be having the old man conversation like when I was a kid, blah blah blah. But no, fuck yeah, dude, it's a different world now. You know what I mean? It's a
different world. People need to know that. Though. People need to know that. It's sort of like I was telling my girlfriend. She's younger than me, but I was telling her about the movie Soylent Green.
Yeah.
Where you had an option to be euthanized, and when you were euthanized, you would go sit in the theater, and they would play like movies of how it used to be with the trees and the flowers, and the guy was just sitting there crying, because he had seen it and he missed it so much, I mean, it's like a fucking. I'll tell you something that was really telling for me though. Like I first got into all the alternative stuff when I read Fingerprints of the Gods.
Yep.
That was a book where basically got proved through science the Sphinx and the pyramids were way older than they said they were in history books. So then I started going, well, why is that? Why are they telling us this, that? And so then I started to question all, written materials and stuff. Then I started to see all the connections between the corporation and, the beware the military industrial corporation, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But man, there's just been a few things that have really moved me, and God, I'm so excited. I might have actually lost my train of thought.
Yeah, no, you were just talking about like how you kind of got on the journey of like learning shit, you know what I mean, and being exposed to it. Yeah, and it's like crazy because when I was a kid, I was into all kinds of weird shit, like and like anything that was like weird or arcane knowledge, I was like all about it. Like I had like weird like encyclopedias, like one was called like Man, Myth, and Magic and shit. And it was just encyclopedias of weird shit. You know what I mean? And then so like some people get into shit through that. Like you said, you started reading Fingerprints of the Gods and finding out like, hey man, like archaeological records might be wrong, or like they're showing how like through rain patterns and whatnot, like how old the Sphinx really is. But then even on like in a more digestible thing, if you just start to tell people about Federal Reserve and like be like, hey, go watch fucking America, Freedom to Fashion. Go look at Aaron Russo's movie. He was a mainstream dude. Like, go look at what he did. And like that is more palatable for some people. And then they're like, oh shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause that's like, that's not conspiracy. That's like legit backed by like, there's no conjecture there. This is fucking reality.
Right. And that's why that word, those two words, conspiracy theory, that is the best weapon they have.
Yeah, to minimalize something or to minimize
to marginalize you, to paint you as a nut, to fucking, as soon as they say that, it's like the news these days. I mean, the interesting thing about the news these days is it's all owned by Rupert Murdoch, but he's still letting Fox News go. So it's like, because they've got to continually keep the decisiveness going. They've got to continue the divide and rule. That's really, I mean, the same people that gave us, the same people that, assassinated the Archduke or whatever and started the First World War are the same people who gave us the Second World War, are the same bloodline who gave us the Third World War. I mean, Albert Pike said it way back when.
Yeah, the same bloodline that'll finance both sides of a war.
Right. Ford, with the rubber, crap, all that. But the thing about Albert Pike, he said way back when, he said, the end game is going to be the very last World War. It's going to depend on the Muslims, is what he said. And this is like, the swashbuckling, like sword type days. But there's another thing, like, what about the Balfour Declaration, where they were already carving up Palestine for the refugees of the Holocaust before the war even happened.
Yeah. There's a lot of...
I mean, it's the same people. It's the same. It's a small group, and I believe this. People think it's crazy, but it's a small. It's bloodlines. And personally, this is my theory. This is what I believe. I think that some of these people are not wholly human. I think that there's been entities that have lived on this earth a lot longer than us, and I think that they have managed to interbreed with people, and that's why, Clinton, Obama, and all those bloodlines were all the same bloodline that goes all the way bad to old Vlad. The old Vlad, they are definitely bad.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
When you start talking,
And there's like, I'll send you a link to a podcast I did with a guy named Matthew Roberts, who was a U.S. Naval Intelligence officer, and
Oh my God,
he was on the Roosevelt when they filmed the gimbal footage and the go fast footage. He was a naval intelligence. He didn't see it firsthand because he was on the ship, but he wasn't in the air. But he saw the footage right away, and then when it became when everything became like, when the Pentagon started to say, this footage, we acknowledge it, like we don't know what it is. His brother hit him up, and then he started investigating it. And once he started investigating it, like shit started getting real. Like things started contacting him and fucking with him. You know what I mean? And when you say when you say there's other things on Earth, like, or in other intelligences or whatnot, that's what he got into. And I had another one with another guy who was on the TV. He used to do UFO investigations, and he was on the show Ancient Aliens, but he'll only do like archival research now. He won't do live investigations anymore because he got fucked with by things. You know what I mean? And I know where you're going with like bloodlines and things. But
the Dulce thing, the Dulce New Mexico thing is really interesting. And another one of my personal heroes. The PS13 is a fuzz pedal that Black Rock Films made for me, and I call it the PS13 because it's 13 attempts that were on Phil Snyder's life. Now, Phil Snyder was a right wing, his whole family was officers, military dude who was a military geologist with top secret clearance. Basically, what his job was is he would drill the starting holes and get the excavation started for dump bases, underground military bases, strengthened ones.
Yep.
Okay, so the government told him. Do you know about this guy?
I've heard of him. Yep. And
this is an amazing story. Okay, check that. So basically, the first thing they would do, the government told him, okay, we need a base under the Dulce in New Mexico.
That's in New Mexico.
Archuleta Mesa, not with Dulce. We need a base there. So they went there. They drilled. He said the first thing we would do, we would drill 2 holes straight down here. Then they would bring in the machine. It has its tunnels. It fuses the dirt and stuff that is moving into glass, makes the wall. So you never have to take any dirt out, right? So basically, before they got that in there, they drilled 2 holes. And he said that this black fucking shit came out like it's very good believe. Basically, what it was is the government knew this nest of old graves lived there and had a tunnel down anyway. He said that the Black Berets what saved his life because they had a firefight with these graves.
Yeah.
And one of the graves had some kind of weapon. It went in his body, in his foot, it came out his hand, and it burned the toes off.
Yeah, he was missing fingers and shit from that.
Right. So you know about this dude, right? But when he went rogue, okay, he thought that after that, he realized then what was going on, and so he decided to become a whistleblower. It was like on the MUFON and all that, right? Well, they tried to kill that motherfucker so many times, but the interesting thing is you can still see on YouTube his main talk where he's talking about geology, and he's showing you actual samples of metal. Like basically, we had got an alien technology, 3 degrees of heat, of being able to withstand heat. Like all this shit's going on there at 51. It's like, 1 grade, but he said it was a molecule. It was a triangle with no equal sides. It was what crystalline molecule looked like, and it was made up of stuff that we have here and that we didn't have here. So, but he said that the graves gave it to him, and it enables him to have 3 strengths. Like you can go kind of close to the sun, you can go pretty close to the sun, and you can fucking fly past the sun, and it would still withstand the heat. And he said that shit would slough off when it was cooled down like raindrops. It'd just be like laying there on the tarmac like hard little rocks. And he had them, and he was showing them around, Huh. That guy, I mean, what a hero, man. The first thing he says is, I love my country more than I love my own life.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, because he was famous for like when he would talk, he would show all his scars and lift his shirt and show. He was something
talking about the black budget, where all the money disappears to, and that was like back the 70s, I guess.
80s, 70s, 80s, and even whatever people think about the Bob Lazar guy, like that element.
He's on the TV now all of a sudden.
Yeah, and it's like he had that element. Like before, like he was talking about it before, and now it's on the chart. You know what I mean? Like it was
it's unreal, dude. I remember reading about him way back when he was one of the first dudes I ever got into it because he said that they'd erased all his records. Like he worked down there, all of a sudden all his records are gone. Cool.
Yeah, but they couldn't get rid of him out of like the old phone books. He was still in the phone books and shit.
Oh, really? Is that what it was?
Yeah, they found the phone books because they couldn't get rid of all those, and he was in the phone book. They found, the old newspaper articles that say like Bob Lazar of the whatever labs and this and that, and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and these is in mainstream newspapers, like, because he put the jet engine on his car and all that shit, and and so it was like this stuff that they could get rid of. They could get rid of a lot of it, but they couldn't get rid of everything. You know what I mean? And it's like, so whether or not whatever I always try and keep a healthy not skepticism, but kind of like a skepticism of everybody. But what he says is like you can back up that there must be a reason why they're denying his existence when you can prove that he worked for these places and was there. You know what I mean? So but
I started talking about it pretty quick. I think he got pretty pissed off. But the Dulce thing was really weird, and also was Steve Adair thing. Adair was that young kid who was building rockets right around Lazar's time. He was building rockets and had this advanced mind when he was really, really young. And of course, the brass picked up on that and they got him. And his story is they took him to a hangar where there was a craft, an alien craft that might have been a Roswell or something like that. And the engineers couldn't get into it. They couldn't crack into it. They couldn't drill into it, nothing. And he walked up on the wing, put his hand on the thing, and a door opened up because it sensed him. It was alive. It sensed that he was pure, And that's when they started. Well, Lazar talked about the propellant they were using, like a tiny reactor with some elements that we didn't have here as fuel. I mean, they reverse engineered a lot of people from Roswell. Another story, and man, but there's a bass player I know. He's pretty famous. He married into a family of Agua Caliente Indians. That's one of the only tribes that made any money because they sold Palm Springs, right? So they were still like powerful. And we were talking, and his wife was Indian, and she said, she goes, I have relatives of mine, distant cousins, that told me one time that they were out hunting in the desert, and they found a downed craft, and they said something in there was still alive, but they were so scared that they knew that if they told anybody about that or tried to rescue it, they would be probably killed. And so I guess that they finished off the alien and buried the craft, and that was it, because they were only out of fear,
Yeah, it's crazy. Where do you think it's going? Crazy. Now that it seems to be escalating in the fact that the government, whether it's the Pentagon or whatever, is officially kind of recognizing or acknowledging existence of UFO footage. But also there was that one agent who said that, this kind of got swept under the rug during COVID, but this was in the New York Times where he's like, oh no, we have craft that are not of this world. And that, and you heard that once, and then you never heard it again. But it was in mainstream news. It was a contractor. He's like, we have craft that aren't from this world. Where do you think this is all going? Do you think there's going to be some kind of reveal?
I do, and here's what I think it's going to be. I think it's why they're revealing right now. I think that why the Pope came out and said what he did and all this shit is because there's going to be a false flag incident where there's probably going to be some kind of natural disaster that they're going to orchestrate with the HARP weapon. Or maybe there's going to be another disease, weaponized virus. They're going to call it a disease. It's going to happen. It's going to be more than one thing. But what's going to happen is there's going to be all of a sudden there's going to be what they're going to call an alien invasion, which will be false flag with crafts that we have right now, like this guy was saying, that look like alien craft. Obviously, nobody's really seen the fucking. So if one day you wake up and there's 1,000 UFOs over the city, and they're saying, everybody quick, run to the churches or to the FEMA camps. Don't go there.
No.
Run the other way, because it's going to be a false flag where they're going to convince everybody, look, this goes beyond religion. This goes beyond politics. You need our help.
Yeah.
The people are going to buy into it, hook, line, and sinker. They already are. You see motherfuckers like, I'm from Maryland. I grew up in Maryland, I should say.
Yeah.
That's horse country, basically. I know these seasoned bikers that have worked on farms their whole life, And I look up at the sky at these chemtrails, and I say, dude, the sky never used to be this color when we were younger. I said, look at that shit. And he goes, oh, that's condensation. I said, that is not jet condensation, motherfucker. Yeah. I said, look, there's a jet over there. It dissipates. I said, this thing was like hanging around for hours and forming huge grids. dude, I had the hardest time with my bike guru. He just wasn't fine. He's like, prove it. I was like, I was getting out, like, trying to find, like, scientific, but they didn't want to come out with it, but they just came out with it now and said, what are they calling it? They're calling it fucking, is that a word for it? Engineering, ecological engineering or something like this, but nobody realized it's been going on for 20 years. They create so much fucked up metal and shit on this planet. It's like, it's a threefold thing. They want control. It makes control group easier, especially for the HARP weapon.
Yeah.
And then, look at Fukushima. It's easy. The night of Fukushima, before Fukushima, you can see the rivulets in the air, just like when you heat something up, So basically, we use the HARP weapon. Fukushima wouldn't play ball. And my personal theory on that is that the Japanese lied about the strength of the reactor. And so when the tsunami hit, it took out the reactor. That's my theory. Yeah. I've heard another theory that, like, the Israeli gunship and American gunship were offshore. They went on into Fukushima and they planted weaponized rods and then orchestrated the tsunami, because that would be one of the most efficient ways to kill large amounts of people, because that radioactive cloud, has been over us for years now.
Oh yeah. They measured it off the coast of California.
Yeah, but like way higher than lethal. So I started researching it. Here's what I realized: both the French, the Russians, and the United States and the British have been dumping radioactive waste into the oceans at an enormous rate, even more than Fukushima. The Russians in the whatever that Bar Sea is, not the North Sea, it's the Black Sea, I think.
Yeah,
they have been dumping shit of such quantities, of such potency in there that, like, I was worried about Fukushima. I'm not worried about nothing anymore, because it's like, come on, it's like, I don't know. It's sickening, is what it is. It's sickening and it's sad.
What do you think the end game is? Just kind of a culling of the population, a cutting down of the population, which we hear is one of the agendas. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do with COVID for sure. But why are they doing that? Because here's what I think is going to happen. Really, nobody's talking about the X factor, and the X factor is the fact that we're going to get passed by so close that we are going to be completely fried by EMFs, or we're going to get our ass directly kicked by fucking Planet X. I've seen it. You can see that fucking planet now. It's all covered up in the news and shit. But I was up fucking north, up near you, where I was actually in New Hampshire, up the mountain at dawn, at daybreak. And something happened right where we were, when the trees parted. I could see it. All of a sudden, my buddy was like, "What the fuck is that? Nibiru?" And I looked over and I saw this gigantic fucking planet that wasn't the sun, just for like a split second, right? Okay, now I've also saw something like that in Richmond a couple years ago. But there's a lot of large planets in the entourage, I should say, of Nibiru. And when you start getting really close, we're going to be completely showered with like 70, 100-pound meteorites. They're going to burn up all the way to about 70 pounds before they hit the Earth. We're going to get peppered. It's already starting to happen. There's so much weird shit going on Earth right now. I think that's what's going to happen. I think the X factor is that this planet is coming, and it's like the Hopi said. Dono from Taos, the people that put on Monolith from Taos, Monolith on the Mesa. Dono and his buddy are Hopi. The Hopi have this amazing prophecy. You can listen to it on YouTube. I'll tell you what it is. It gives me the chills right now. It really put it in perspective for me, is that, the Earth is going to be purified. And unless you get back to Mother Earth, to the basics, you're gonna be changed forever. And whether you survive or not, I don't know, but man, I'm a lot calmer in mind after hearing that, because it just puts it in perspective, But see, that's the X factor nobody's talking about. But everybody's building underground. Nobody's worried about the upground infrastructure, even though Biden's talking about all that bullshit. They've been putting so much money underground. They've got highways coast to coast, So it's like something's going on, right?
Yeah.
They know something that they're not telling us.
Well, the airport in Colorado there, that just like the Denver airport, it's got got miles of shit underground, and fucking. But so
yeah, they took down all the crazy paintings. They took down all the crazy paintings and shit like that, because they were starting to have bad press. But yeah, that place has got a very, very sinister vibe. Yeah. Very weird. Oh, you can feel that shit,
Yeah. So I noticed
I'm getting really excited about talking about this shit, man.
Yeah, I know. But when you said Nibiru, so you think we're going to get, you think the Anunnaki are behind things or something?
Well, look, that
because it's supposed to come back, right? When there's a rotation of when that planet is supposed to be close to us, and that's when they're supposed to come back, right?
Right, and that's when every deluge has happened. It's got a really long, oblong or elliptical orbit of like 25,000 years going the other way. So it's a reverse orbit. And when it comes close to it, the first time it came through, it actually hit this planet, which I believe was called Tiamat, and that's what created our moon and the debris field that we call our Milky Way or our galaxy. Yeah. That's what I think happened. Personally, I do believe that we as humans are products of DNA manipulation at some far time, and like a virus or something like that, we've mutated, and our minds developed faster than we were supposed to, or whatever it might be. I do believe we were made as a worker race. I've had dreams before when I was younger that were really pretty freaked out, like vats and being in a vat full of fucking liquid and all that kind of shit. Huh. So I don't know. I don't really know, but all I do know is that is definitely the Planet X right there. I mean, because everything about it has been wiped off YouTube. Everything. And the false flag thing is real.
It's very weird what gets brought off YouTube and what stays on. Like they let flat Earth shit stay on there, but they take like someone like Alex Jones down, or they'll take like Planet X shit down. And I'm not sticking up for Alex Jones,
right? But why have they let David Icke up? Yeah. Why is David Icke left up? Why have they killed David Icke?
Yeah,
he's the one. I mean, he's one of the main ones. He's the one that first got me into, like, basically I read And the Truth Shall Set You Free, his first book. And he wasn't talking about any reptile shit back then. He was just telling the truth about all the alphabet agencies. Yeah. And I mentioned that in the first Hidden Hand record. I mentioned that. I say, read these books. I had a Jim Mars book, then I had that book. And man, that's when Stoner Rock Comic just come up. Dude, I was brand new to the computer. These motherfuckers were tearing me apart because I said, read this book, And the Truth Shall Set You Free, saying, does Wino really believe in that reptilian shit? And, reptilian is really code for Jewish. And is he Jewish or whatever? That's anti-Semitic. I was getting called an anti-Semite for telling people to read this book that had nothing to do with nothing like that.
Yeah,
I was pissed off, dude. But I was young to the internet, so I actually had to fight back. So I made what do you call like a fake person, a fake name? I made a fake.
Yeah.
It was I used a Merovingian king. I was like Dagobert fought back like a motherfucker.
But yeah, what do you think about the theory that there's been like we're not the first kind of advanced civilization on Earth? That there's been a few civilizations that have been wiped out, through one thing or another.
I believe that. I believe that 100%. I think that Atlantis was super, super high tech, and I know that what I believe is that when Atlantis was about to implode, the priest caste of Atlantis became a diaspora and fanned out to other places on the ocean, other places of the world. And that's because a lot of these same myths happen simultaneously in the same place. For example, the Aztec have Quetzalcoatl, the fucking Mayan have Kukulkan. South America has has their version. I can't exactly remember what he's called there. And we have Jesus Christ. I mean, whatever it is, I think that there was, because you see ancient, like Olmec fucking sculptures where it shows the mouth of the dragon, and out of the dragon is coming a bearded white man. I mean, that's why I wrote that song. I read that song called The Departure. It's a Spirit Caravan song that I wrote. It's on Elusive Truth. And that song is about the departure of Quetzalcoatl. And because this is just really interesting, we talk about this because Quetzalcoatl was a god in the Aztec pantheon who didn't believe in human sacrifice. He was into flowers and wine. He brought culture and the arts, right? Yeah. So he was tricked by the war god, his brother. He was tricked and got drunk and fucked his sister, as in the myth, right? So then he leaves on a raft of snakes to reappear later as the morning star. But in the myth, the Aztec myth says that he was due to reappear physically on the very day that Cortez landed on the shores of Mexico.
Huh.
And that's why Cortez was able to subdue, or initially ingratiate himself, and then partially subdue the Aztecs, who were like, goddamn, far outnumbered them, because they really thought he was the god, because they brought food sprinkled with human blood and some that did it. The Spaniards, like, they saw the human blood in there, just like, fuck that shit. He passed all the tests, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was how it was. I mean, that's, as far as I understand it, that's true. I mean,
yeah. You know,
I think it's fascinating. Everything is fascinating.
Everything's fascinating, man. It's like crazy that there's so many. Just like if you know, just for someone who is like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Just think about this. Look at all these cultures with pyramids, and all these pyramids showed up, and they're on the same fucking. They're all in a straight line, and they're all on the same line. And there's in Egypt, they're in fucking South America and Central America, they're in the Indonesia. Like all these pyramids all spouted around the same time frames, and they a lot of them look very similar. Like the Indonesian ones and the Mexican ones look like very similar. Like, and they're all on like the same arc. They're all on the same line.
They're mathematically advanced. They're mathematically advanced, and sometimes the construction seems like impossible.
Yeah.
So it definitely points to a common. Again, that very well could have been the product of the diaspora of the intellectual pre-class of Atlantis. I mean, I don't really know much about Lemuria. I don't really know much about Mu.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there is very. I mean, there isn't very much to learn about it, is there? I mean, most of it's conjecture or by people that are seers. That can go back and see, and I believe in that too. I mean, I believe in a lot of stuff that I've never seen and that had it proven to be, like a coast, for example. People are pretty pragmatic. My drummer's very pragmatic, and I started talking to him about some of this shit. He goes, "Well, I started talking about your straw man and the Uniform Commercial Code and how the Federal Reserve has you, a fake you. They trade your birth certificate on the stock market and all that shit."
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, "Man, I thought you were at the lunch at that shit." He goes, "And everything you said, I just wasn't buying it." Then he researched it and understood it too, even though it's really hard to understand.
Yeah, yeah. But, you're a corporation. You're not a human being. You're a corporation.
Right, and to gain control of that, I mean, technically you don't have to have a driver's license. Yeah. Technically, you don't have to have, because we are still under black maritime law.
Yeah,
British maritime law. Nobody knows that. They're talking shit about people. But I'll tell you something I believe in, though. It really is the one kicker. When I start talking about Bigfoot, man, people are just like shake their heads. Man,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I totally believe in that entity also.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, and for me, like I go through like I've always been interested in things. I keep an open mind. Like, I'm not a scientist. Like, I'm not like a I'm not a physicist. I'm not like a super scientist. Like, there's things I can't prove. I go on belief, and I always try and keep an open mind about things. Like, because when someone's so staunch, like they're like, well, this is what happened. Like, how the fuck do you know, dude? Were you there? Like, were you there?
Right.
Like, did you see these pyramids getting built? Do you know what the fuck actually happened? No, there's theories, and there's some shit that makes more sense than others. Like, but when you start, just questioning things and looking at things, like, like even to bring it back into modern times, like, it gets
your gut will tell you.
Yeah,
your gut will tell you. Your heart will tell you.
And it bums me out. It bums me out so much that so many people that normally should have been like people I thought would be on the front lines of common sense and like fighting and resisting shit, have just bought into it. They got so many people with this COVID shit, like, and it was like, I'm like, motherfucker, if you really think they were worried about your health, would they tell you to stay inside and you didn't see one public health message about taking like quercetin and vitamin C and D and this and that and getting exercise? All you saw was be afraid. All they did was pump fear into you continuously for a fucking year. And now you're bought, sold, hook, line, and sinker. And I was like, do you think Pfizer gives a fuck about you? Like, you're going to stop putting shit for the Pfizer's making into your body? And it's like, you're anti-vaccine. I'm like, no, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm anti that fucking vaccine. I'm not anti-polio vaccine. Like, I'm anti that shit. Like, it ain't even, like, they're keeping quiet about, like, the animal test because all the animals were fucking dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll tell you something right now. I researched that vaccine hardcore. I researched that hardcore, looking in science books and shit like this. What they're calling a vaccine, or the Moderna one especially, is not even a true vaccine. Even on their own website, they call it a platform. What the mRNA does is it fucking stimulates. They inject you without a vaccine with a tiny little piece of the spiked protein of the virus, not the whole virus. So that basically what happens is your fight cells develop, and they will attack that. But then, when it's not there, within 6 months, maybe a year, your body is going to start turning on you, and all the additives they're putting in vaccines So many people have died directly after receiving the vaccine. They're hiding the numbers, but okay, on Tucker Carlson, he said it's 4,000 a month. 4,000 a month. 4,000 people a month dying, and that's probably underreported. Give me a fucking like people are going blind, people are going sterile.
Yeah.
I mean,
who knows what the fuck's going to happen? There's never been a situation where they've done live human testing before. Like, if you believe in the system, then if you're, I'm just saying, if you're a person that believes in the system, then you must believe that the FDA is there for a reason. Now, if these vaccines have got pushed through without FDA approval and we're in live human testing where you're not seeing any safety data from the animal footage, like, why would you take, like,
it's cooling.
It's crazy.
It's cooling.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cooling. They want to cool the population. I'll send you the email before we hang up, where I might have it now already, but I'll send you a document called the Committee of 300, okay?
Yeah,
now,
I've heard of this.
It's a fucking tome, all right? I'm telling you, it's a tome. It's going to be hard to get through. But what it does, basically the consensus is one whistleblower dude who was very, very, very high up. Names at all. But the overall objective is they don't want, by they I mean the bloodlines, the elite. They consider normal people to be useless breeders and useless eaters and a waste. And basically, unless we can work for them somewhere on a planet or in their underground base or as sex slaves or whatever it is, then they just want to kill us. They don't even care if half the country's wiped out as long as they have the breadbasket to feed the elite. They do not want us to succeed. And now we're really seeing it in action with the open border. Because they're globalists. They want one world government and they want one world wage. Yep. Mr. Klaus Schwab, the energy behind the Great Reset. Okay. One of my songs on Sacred, I was talking about, conspiracy song is called, God, I might not be able to think of it right now because I'm so excited. But I'm talking about, and the Golden Bull will arise. The Golden Bull is like, is Baal, is the bad guy, And fucking Klaus Schwab shows up talking about the Great Reset, trying to paint it as a green thing and all this crap, All right. Well, look, I've had a picture of him in his ceremonial satanic leadership robes behind a podium, and he's got the fucking gold bull. It's like one of the patches on his fucking on
his regalia,
cut, on his cut,
on his cut, yeah. Well, it's crazy, even to get back to even more basic things, that you got all these guys who are world leaders and gals, but I know actually it's just guys going to go see the Moloch shit, you know what I mean?
Bohemian Grove,
yeah, and fucking and mock sacrifices, and it's like, you got fucking when it was President Bush, like. You got world leaders
all
there.
of them.
Like, what the fuck are they doing? That's some weird shit. Like, and like I said,
it's a playground for the old homos, man. It's a pedophile playground. People disappear from there all the time. Like, they bust in they bust in kids that have no fucking that people can't trace them. Orphans and shit like that. I mean, it's fucking heavy duty, ugly, bad.
Yeah. It's just
that whole scene, man.
I know. Well,
that whole scene, like.
They really did, like, I know it's with that stuff, it's a little tough to prove, but then there's been like male prostitutes that have come out and said like, we get shipped over there and stuff, like, that have put stuff on record.
Alex Jones' video when he stuck in Bohemian Grove is pretty insane.
Yeah,
you can hear like there's a loudspeaker system in Moloch, and you can see they all file past Moloch. They've got something written on a piece of paper. As they file past, they throw it in the fire in the burner there. You can hear something on the loudspeaker, something being played, and allegedly it is a human sacrifice. But listen, if you want to see something really weird, I don't know if you've seen this yet or not, but okay, CERN, for example. CERN is where they're doing the particle collider in Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
Well, when they fucking goddamn initiated that place and had the initial party for it, they had the most bizarre, sickening Illuminati, like, globalist party that I've ever seen with all these weird dancers simulating workers being subjugated and all kinds of wild shit. Okay, but there's a CERN video where basically there's a big CERN is like an enclosed, totally enclosed thing. You can't get in there. It's top secret. Well, it's not top secret, but it's like it's a gated community of fucking heavy duty scientists. Like, right, there's a big statue of Kali on one of the grounds. Okay, a video surfaced a couple years ago about what I do believe. You got to use your gut, man, to see.
Yeah.
You see how my stomach shit, but you realize you have to use your gut. You have to trust your instincts as what you believe or don't believe. And there's a video where they allegedly sacrificed this chick in front of CERN. It happened real quick, pretty grainy, but man, I believe it really happened. you can check that out. There's people debunking it, but you go to like CERN, Human Sacrifice or whatever, and there's a couple different ones. Check that out. You tell me what you think next time, because it's just out of curiosity.
Yeah. There's so much weird shit out there, man. Yeah.
So much weird shit,
And there's some of it, it's like you said, like your gut visceral reaction is just like, there's some shit that's just so fucking wrong and fucking weird and like unhuman, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, and it's sad, you know what I mean? Because like some of these motherfuckers, like, a lot of these motherfuckers are in high positions of fucking power, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's fucking horrible, you know?
They're untouchable. They know they're untouchable. It's like they own the crematorium. Hey, you gotta get rid of a body. You don't have to put it in a paper in a plastic bag and weight it down, and you take it to the crematorium that you own. It's like they've got it down to a science. And I think that as far as like the political thing goes, like I think it's all theater. Okay, I think it's all theater. Right. I lean a little bit. If I would have to choose, I would lean a little bit more towards the libertarian side, because
that's how I am. But I don't 100% agree with all the libertarian stuff. But if I had to choose one, that's the one where I'm most in agreement with. Absolutely.
Right. I mean, it's pretty much all theater, I think. I mean, people say, well, Donald Trump, but, I've seen Donald Trump with the fucking Jesuits, the main Jesuits, leaning down talking to Trump, and he's got this big crucifix necklace on, but it ain't Jesus on the cross. It's a wing. It's Lucifer. I mean, the Jesuits is like the armed wing for the papacy, and the papacy is obviously fucking the devil. But, that kind of shit. So, I don't get it. There's too many mixed signals, And the thing about it is, though, that it's, they switch sides. Like the left is now the new right, and they all do everything. What they complain about that they did, the one party did, the other party did last election. It's like, so it's just nothing but hypocrisy, man. And they're just lining their pockets, which is me,
Yeah, and even just bring it down to earthly shit that you can look at, like it's exactly what you said. It's fucking theater. It's all WWE, WWF fucking wrestling.
Yeah.
It's what it is. Because there's all this video, like when you want to politicize something, right? So just take immigration, whatever your stance is on immigration. When Obama was president, he's the one who built those cages on the border. There's video of him and Biden walking through them with those kids being detained in the cages on the border. And there's video of Pelosi and all of them saying, we need to secure the border, we need to build the wall, blah, 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 blah. And then Trump comes in, and now they're all against it. And it's just like, it's wrestling. It's like there's a heel, and then there's a hero. And then it just switches. Whoever's in power is, like all their political ideas just change because it's just to be the opposition for the theater to continue. It's
right.
Fucking
right. I do believe that Trump was kind of the X factor, because I don't think he was really supposed to win.
No. But I just mean like they were all like pro border and this and that. But then when he was in, now they're all anti border. But I know what you're saying. Like, I think Trump was like a surprise for everybody. Like people are like, oh shit, that really happened. Now what are we gonna do?
And, a lot of people think that that's what we need. But what happened was it turned some. The news is so controlled by the one party that they just turned. It is such a personal hatred thing. Like, I don't know one female that. Well, there's some females that are for Trump, but most people, even if they voted for Trump, females, they don't like him. There's something about him that rubs women wrong, because we know he was on Epstein Island, but fucking Biden's being in bed with the Chinese. So what's worse? I don't know.
Yeah,
the lesser of two evils.
And allegedly, whatever's on Hunter Biden's laptop is fucking way more horrible than fucking anything on Epstein's Island. Right. You know what I mean? But
you don't hear any of it. What about Cuomo? He was down. Right, he had like 10 chicks accusing him of shit, right? But then he said on the news, he said, if this pressure keeps up, then I know some shit about one of our leaders that's a baby raper. When he said that, it all went away.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, this is high level fucking Luciferian type shit. It's like I say, man. It's like, I'm not agnostic. I believe in a higher power. I believe like in the spark of life, but I don't believe like God is like an old man sitting there in a chair, blah blah blah.
Sure, yeah.
Why would it be a man? Why would it, whatever it is? I believe like the spark of life. But I do believe that we are most likely DNA products of DNA manipulation. We would be really arrogant to think that we are the smartest motherfuckers in in the whole existence. You know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We definitely don't got it down. Like we're definitely infants in learning and still in like adolescence of that type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We got cool machines, man.
Yeah. But fucking dude, it's gonna be it's wacky times, man. I wonder what this year's gonna hold. You just kind of bringing it back to music stuff. Like, do you got I know you got you 2 Obsessed records going. Do you have any shows on the books yet? I know it's still kind of tough.
That was the second part of it. It looks like, well, as of right now, I'm hoping it doesn't change. We will be going out. The Obsessed will be going out on tour right around the end of July to get us out to the Ripple Festival, which is going to be on August 7th. And then, of course, I'm slated to play acoustic guitar at Psycho pre-party on August 19th. But we're gonna do tour with the Skull. And the Skull, which you sort of Trouble, Trouble offshoot.
Yep.
And so that's going to go. That's going to be happening at the end of July, running into August.
And is that States or is that overseas?
That is just United States. I'm sorry,
okay.
States.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then I think that I Hate God is released record. I think their record release party is in Louisiana somewhere in September. And I don't think our bass player is going to be able to do that. Remember, we're going to do that. I'll probably use more songs acoustic. So the Obsessed is going to do a bunch of electric shows, small string in the States. And then I'm going to play acoustic at Psycho.
Nice.
And I'm hoping we can I'm really hoping we can get on the West Coast with the electric band. And, this talk is South America. I think we're going to jump right after that. We're going to go out to South America and play with Alexis.
Yeah.
The Obsessed. That's been my dream come true. We were supposed to go last August. It was all booked, and the COVID thing totally fucking over. But here's the thing. These motherfuckers are trying to get me to get a fucking health passport by getting vaccinated. They're not getting coming. I ain't getting that vaccination. Are you fucking kidding me? So, I'm sure that there's ways to get around that.
Yeah. It's fucking, it's crazy, man. And but dude, it sucks because South America.
I mean, if somebody wants to get vaccinated, that's cool.
Of course. Yeah.
I don't tell anybody to do anything, but I did the research and
the end of the day, my take on it is we're adults. Adults should be able to make their own decision. I just try and make counterpoints to the mainstream narrative just to get people thinking. I'm not trying to convince anybody of one thing or the other. I'm just saying, hey, think about it this way before you fucking agree to get this fucking in you. Like, know more about what you get into.
Right.
That's it.
And you're probably going to get labeled as anti-vaxxer, probably.
I know.
It's going to be like, you need to get vaccination, get the pound of the box. You know what I mean? It's all about devices.
End of the day, dude, what do I care, man? I'm not trying to do anybody wrong. I'm not trying to do anything dirty. I'm just trying to get people to think. And so if people want to label me whatever,
you will be successful, man. You will be successful, and you will be okay. You know why? Because the truth. There you go. Big truth.
Yeah.
If you're in a fist fight, for example, if you don't start that fist fight, if somebody fucks with you and says something to you and starts a fight with you, your chances of winning that fight are way greater than if you start a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. No gas.
Dude, it's funny that you say that because ingrained in me from a child was like my father. Like I grew up with my father. I didn't grow up with my mother. Like my father got full custody of me at 5. And the first day I was going on a school bus, I still remember this like nothing, like it was yesterday. The kindergarten, I'm getting on the bus and he goes, look, he's like, there's going to be idiots in the world. He's like, if anyone starts with you, he's like, but you're not going to be one of them is what he said. He's like, if I find out you're starting trouble and you're bothering kids and you're starting fights, I'm going to smack the shit out of you. He didn't say it like that, but he probably did actually. You know what I mean? He probably did say it just like that. He goes, but if I find out some kids are messing with you and you don't stand up for yourself and fight back, I'm going to smack the shit out of you. You know what I mean? So it was like, I always learned that from a young age, don't start trouble, but don't back down from it. And, obviously when my wilder years, I used that a little less, I'd try and maybe goad people into starting a fight with me, but young, teenager shit.
We all go through transgressions, man.
Yeah. I'll own it. I'll own my bullshit. But most of the fights I've ever been in, I can say wasn't me being the aggressor. It was me being wronged or someone laying hands on me first. And it's just, so I never felt bad.
I mean, I've only had my ass kicked, really kicked hard. I think once, and that's because we had some road rage. The dude fucking almost pissed me off. And he parked his car and ran away. And I ran after him. When I turned my back to him, started walking back, he ran up behind me and ran in front of me. Then after that, I was his punching bag. And I had my knife in my pocket the whole time. And I was, but you know what? It wasn't worth it, man. It wasn't worth it. I took my lumps. I should have known better, and that was just the way it is. But, it is what it is. I mean, people, my position on violence is like, I don't like it, especially when it's misguided. But, sometimes it's the only thing people understand. Sometimes it's unfortunate, but it's always on the table usually, right?
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I don't want it. I avoid it, but sometimes it's unavoidable. And
I mean, you can defend your lady and defend yourself. And that's like, my girlfriend. She just went into the store just now. But I mean, when I first met her, she was a hardcore pacifist, like so pacifist, like And I said, my point to her was, look, if they come in here, if the brown shirts come here someday and try to drag me away, or try to kill me or something like that, he said, are you just going to let them? Would you just let that happen? If your sister's baby, you were babysitting, they came in to take him away, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And slowly she sees that point surely. And I definitely, unfortunately, there's been occasions when I haven't been the best, I haven't acted the best or been the best example that I could have been. But man, I'm always striving to be better, and I think I'm always trying to learn. And the most important thing is like be passionate about what you believe in, and do the research. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just remain open and just try and be better. That's like you said.
And you try to be better, man.
We're all human.
That's right.
Yeah,
and I want to ask you, what do I call you actually? What do you like to be called?
What's that?
What do you like to be called? I mean, name wise.
Just Truth. Truth is fine.
Truth. Is that your real name? Is that your given name?
No. That's a nickname I've had. Since I can't even remember.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, is it real super cool or I don't know.
Yeah. No, no. Dude, I
love superhero nicknames.
yeah. But fuck yeah, man. Well, dude, like, we gotta do this again. We're like next time I feel we gotta do one in person. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, dude, I know you're on the road. I know you're on the road, and you're trying to make time and fucking.
Dude, when I come back to Mass, it's only like 2 hours for me. It's like we drove to Mass the other day to get somebody paint. He bought us an architect. So it's like I would love to come see you, come see your shop and hang out.
Absolutely.
I'm buy scabs and gloves too.
Yeah, man, and we might have to build that shovel head for your drummer there,
Dude, I would love to do that. It's like that would be a fantastic thing to get into. It might be in the project. It might be a slow go project. That's okay, but we can talk about that.
Yeah. There's no, obviously, yeah.
I can already tell you the man. I like it. I already know.
Yeah, well, fuck yeah, man. But let's I'm gonna let you get on the road here. But this was a fucking great talk. Like when we do one in person, dude. Like, because it's like. We'll be, I don't know. Like, I love doing them in
we'll
person.
Be in our element. We will be in our element, man.
Yeah.
I'll probably be late to do the potlatch thing,
Yeah, fuck yeah. And dude, the crazy thing is if you come here and do it at the shop, like I'm literally sitting at one of my motorcycle lifts with my shit set up on that. That's where we do it, right in the shop. Like it's not like I don't have a studio and none of that shit. You know what I mean? But it's pretty mobile. Or I'll come out to the Catskills, dude, and we'll ride and do fucking mountain shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'll get a little generator. We'll film this. We'll record one on the mountaintop, like where we're looking at the fucking Planet X. Dude,
Why not? Why not? That's what truly counts. That's what we live in. Like I say, you want to get out. If you want to get out of the city, or we get to the city, but if you want to get out my way, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, we are at the most like 3 hours from each other, probably.
Oh yeah. I'm upstate all the time. I got a lot of brothers in Albany that I go see, and all over the place.
Oh, me too.
There. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, fuck yeah, man.
Fucking dude.
Well,
we will cross paths.
Yeah, but before you go, like, give some, so if people want to find out more about what you got going on, because I want people to go to your site because you're doing some rad artwork that you're selling, like personalized artwork and shit, and I know that's a good way to help people during this time when bands can't tour and stuff, like to help artists, buy some of Wino's artwork, buy merch and band merch, buy fucking band music. Don't just listen to it on Spotify. Like fucking buy a CD or fucking vinyl, dude, or whatever. Fucking let's.
Okay, I'll give a little. I'll give out the hieroglyphics right now. All right.
Yeah.
My art site is called Wino art.com.
Yep.
And that's where some of our artwork and, I paint and I draw, and the sculptures will be sculptures on there. And I also make jewelry. I like to make kind of more of a style, necklace, but I've had some commissions lately that have been, everything's going really good with that. I'm really lucky to have that, and I'm excited to people like the art. And then we also have a Patreon site, which is, www.patreon.com/theobsessed.
Yep.
And, you can, it's a family where you buy, you buy a subscription, and we do our best to put content on there. We're doing all kinds of stuff. I do a little skit, a pretty radical little skit with one little fan character I have. It's like a biker and kind of a fuck up, and that's been getting a lot of people dig that, and we try to do as much as we can. We put the content out there, and it seems like good music, man. I know that's what people really want, so we try to do that, and eventually, I think that everybody, not just Patreon people, can have the music. So I'm entertaining the idea right now, but maybe starting a label because I got some of my other titles.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Hankenstein Records, the drummer St. Vitus, Henry Vasquez, he's got a label called Hankenstein Records. He's going to be repopping some Spirit Caravan stuff.
Nice.
And all that. So Hankenstein Records, Wino-art.com, and my Patreon site, which is Patreon/success.
And I'll have all this in the show notes. So if you listeners forget it, you can always just go check the show notes, and there'll be a link to all of this. So you can
So they'll be up really soon. We're like fine-tuning all the dates right now. Pretty much as I understand it, it's going to be the Obsessed and the Skull coming together. I think we're going to alternate headlining, and I think basically it's going to be from the end of July, probably into mid-August.
Nice.
Yeah, in the United States. Mainly, I would have to say, I don't think we're doing any West Coast shows. We're really pushing for it.
Yeah, you're going to have to do some of the more just like open free states right now. Like that's probably really the options, right?
We're making our way to Texas. So that's, you never know. I mean, it's great places to play, but, it can also be kind of dicey out there sometimes. We'll see what's happening. It's been a little while, so we'll see. The last one we did was with Today's the Day. We didn't even get a chance to do the second and third leg because of COVID.
Yeah.
But after that, we're going to South America, and then we're going to Mexico. So that's really, really good news. So hopefully South America in September. I'm hoping.
You guys must kill in South America because it's such
We've never been there.
What a fucking, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are going to slay down there, dude. They fucking love it. I
know they do.
Everyone I know that's in everyone I know that's in a band that's played down there says you've never seen a crowd like be so appreciative and sing along with everything and know what they're fucking listening to and dude, you guys are gonna slay down there.
It's my dream, man. It's my dream. We were supposed to do it last August. It didn't happen, but it's still gonna happen. That's my dream, really, to play South America. It's always been one of my dreams. And Mexico is off the hook. Cool.
Dude,
we played Mexico last year right before COVID, and it was like unbelievably great. I mean, again, thousands of people. So we're going to do South America and Mexico with any luck. We'll keep our fingers crossed for whatever you do,
Absolutely, man. And hopefully, there starts to be some more free travel going on and we can get more bands coming to your state so people can start going to shows again. And I'm just telling motherfuckers now, like, there was a year and a half where no one did shit. If shows are coming to your fucking town, go to the fucking show and support. You know what I mean? Stop being scared, dude. There's nothing to be scared of. Wear your mask, get your vaccine if you're scared, because, whatever. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do. But get out there because, you can't live under thumb forever, dude. Like, enough's enough. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy.
That's right. And, who knows? This could, it might not be the last run. I sure hope it ain't.
Yeah.
But hey, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Next year, super COVID.
We need people to get out and really support it because that's the only way anything's going to get done positive anyway.
Yeah. And the
people to come together.
The craziest thing about this whole thing is the perspective I try to keep and show, because like at the end of the day, the government's not your parent. Right? Like, you're an adult, you make a decision. Like, no businesses should have been shut down during this. Like, no business should have been shut. 40% of all U.S. small businesses are permanently out of business for this. Like, but if you work at Walmart or you work at some place, you might not care about that. But someday, it's gonna bite all of us on the ass, like, you know, and it's coming. That day of reckoning is coming, dude. Like, we can't sustain like infinite, like 3/4 of the population being on fucking unemployment for a year and a half. Like, the country cannot sustain that. And I'm not coming from like a heartless place. Like it's like,
no, you know all about it. Our economy is on a house of cards anyway.
Absolutely,
no gold to back at Turkey. I mean, you know, But, and you know, the thing is, we're already seeing it. Like, one of my favorite bars, Chicago, Succumb.
Yeah.
Did the Middle East shut down?
So the the Middle East is for sale, and but it's not. Well, it shut down, like, you know, during the shutdowns, but like they're still gonna have shows again, but the building is for sale. So if it sells, then who knows what's gonna happen? You know what I mean?
And the building is for sale undoubtedly because nobody else gets squeezed out. The thing about it is, what the thing that I'm understanding is that with the moratorium on people paying rent, okay, like, that's nice if you're paying rent, I guess. But the bottom line is they're not taking into account the people who own the buildings.
Yeah,
they're people with families too. So when those buildings when that person can't pay for those buildings, the government is going to take those buildings. It's really it's like a multifaceted fuckery, is what it is.
Yeah,
they're poisoning the air. So Monsanto's the only seed. Yeah. They're like grabbing all the fucking land. You know, Bill Gates is like the largest landholder in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, I've said the same thing, dude. It's a big resource grab, and it's basically war on what's left of the middle class, man. That's like literally economic warfare on the middle class, man, because, you know, the elite are fine. The elite are fine, and the bottom of the barrel, like, I'm not saying the bottom of the barrel, but the poorest people, like, haven't been affected as much by this. They're actually probably doing better, you know what I mean, from getting more government support now than... And I'm not saying that out of a place of judgment or ignorance. I'm just trying to state facts. But like, whole thing's been a war in the middle class, dude, to try and fucking drive a nail in what's left of it. You know what I mean?
That's right. Right. They're warring on us. They're warring on us. You know, it's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
My personal opinion. They're warring on us. I think we need to war back, and that's bottom line. I mean, whether it's psychological is always better.
Yeah, sure.
Than physical. Kinetic energy is all, you know. Psychological energy is always better, you know, to win a war, to win your point, or to get what you need. But man, it's going to get, you know, we need to fucking start doing something. People got to get together, and people got to put aside their differences. They got to love one another more, and we got to fucking stand up, or else we're going to be gone.
Yeah, I'm just going to say enough's enough, man. Like, you know, that's it. Like, enough is enough. Like, all right, we're done.
It's the truth, man. It's the big truth. That's the big truth.
Yeah.
It's all about love. It's all about love, man. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
And they don't love us. You know, people. The hardest thing about people is most people. You know, and I understand. I mean, understandably so. They don't realize that our government isn't trying to help us. They're actually trying to. All you got to do is go back to Trailer Tears. Fuck, we bombed Philippines back into the Stone Age from ships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there's so much evidence out there, but they make life so hard that you forget about these little things.
Sure.
Like, you forget about the 911 was a fucking controlled demolition. You forget about the fact that, you know, we shelled Philippines into the Stone Age. Forget about that shit because you're too busy trying to feed your fucking family.
Yeah, you're too distracted. Everyone I know is working like one or two jobs, and it's not like the old days where there was like one breadwinner that was supporting a family of four. It's not now. Both parents are working one or two jobs and fucking trying to figure out daycare and trying to figure out this and how to pay all these taxes and do this and that and just navigate through life. So you when you have a second, you just want a second of peace, like and not have to think about anything. And you don't think that's a planned? You don't think that was the move, dude? That's gangster shit, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it is total gangster shit, dude. You know, and the bottom line, those are the people, you know, the echelon gangsters, like the Great Reset and all that shit. People are buying into that shit and say, oh, it's green, it's ecological, and all this bullshit. That's a crock of shit, dude.
Yeah.
Their main objective is to fucking control the population and have more for themselves. And one of the reasons is, you know, people say, oh, why would they do that? You know, you can't take it with you when you die. They figured out how to extend their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, the crazy thing is like, you know, and this sounds horrible. Like, I'm not against fucking decreasing the population. I don't mean it by doing it like bad means. Like, there is a lot of people. Like, you know, like at a certain point, Earth can only sustain so many people. But my objective is out of concern for, you know, the Earth and humanity, not to further my own profits and my old stranglehold on fucking the people, like, because I have no stranglehold on anybody. You know what I mean? I'm fucking struggling like everybody else. Like I don't have an end game that's personal gain for me. It's more benevolence towards the all of our futures. You know what I mean? Like
dude, I dig your trip, man. I dig your trip a lot. I think you're on. Dude, I'm so glad we got a chance to hook up. And,
absolutely.
I do want you to if I can ask you to just check out this one thing. Go to YouTube and check out. It's the Hopi story of the red and blue Kachina.
Yes.
I live. That'll resonate with you, and it's coming from the Hopis from.
Yeah. No, absolutely, dude. That's like. We'll get into it. We'll get into it on the next one. I'll talk to you a little bit more about my Arizona experiences, especially shit out on the Navajo reservation and whatnot, dude.
Oh,
like that.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, dude. We'll get into some shit on that, or we'll be by a campfire and talk about that shit, man. Because it's fucking craziness, man. It's the motherfuckers are in touch with some shit. You know what I mean? Like, for sure.
Yeah, I know it. I know they are, and that's weird. That's a really intense place out there. I'll tell you what. When we meet face to face, maybe we'll make a little video or something like that. We can that way we can we can. Or something, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely,
I just want to make you talk to you, look at your bikes, man. I'm so happy to do that. I'll bring you some music. I'll bring you a couple copies of my new record, and we'll forever go on my acoustic record and stuff.
Fuck yeah!
All right,
man.
cool, brother.
Well, we'll continue talking, man, and I'll put all the links in the show notes, so everyone go out and support for sure, and we'll talk soon, man. I appreciate you coming on today, man.
Dude, I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.